But before we do, obviously, as we get into the Sunday scaries, we're getting closer to Halloween. A lot of scaries. The Bengals plan on being full participants. We got to hear from Ja'Marr Chase, a very frustrated Ja'Marr Chase, after the game yesterday.
Probably my first time seeing him through this injury, an injury like this, besides, that knee. But being on the team with him just the first time like that. So, he just going through a little adversity. He's going to be back good.
4 games this season. Do you feel like you've had less time to get open and create space for yourself?
Nah, I'm open. I'm always open. Excuse my profanity. I'm sorry.
That was Ja'Marr Chase, the man that says he's always
effing open.
He ain't wrong.
No, he ain't wrong.
As we show you Joe Burrow's stats here, Joe Burrow headlines our Sunday scaries, Jay. 20 of 30, 165 yards and a fumble. This has just been the season from hell for Joe Burrow so far.
Who'd rather have the rest of the season, Matthew? Joe Burrow or Josh Dobbs?
I'm going to say Joe Burrow, but man, oh man.
You don't feel great about it.
I don't feel great about that.
Yeah. I mean, he's just clearly not right. I think the positive, Connor, would be that they've got 2 games coming up against the Cardinals and Seahawks, and they hit their bye.
But I said it last week against Tennessee.
No,
I was dead wrong.
Well, it's more about the bye. Just means you get 2 more games, then you get to the bye.
No,
then hopefully his calf can heal
I'll
up.
completely own this, right? I mean, Joe Burrow was one of my big loves this week as well. I on my shot for shot, I said he'll be a top 3 fantasy quarterback today. I used him as the anchor in my DraftKings DFS lineup. That won me no money.
Same.
I mean, I'm just like, no, I mean, I called it wrong on this one. I'll just, it's just tough. Like, he's been under 9 fantasy points in 3 or 4 games this season. He's had 0 touchdown passes in 3 or 4. I don't know that you can start him with any confidence until you see something here, especially, by the way, T. Higgins is now going to miss multiple weeks with a fractured rib injury. He leaves this game. So a quarterback that's struggling is down one of his big weapons, Connor. I'm nervous here.
Right, and you have all these guys that are streamer worthy at this point, right? Josh Dobbs, Russell Wilson,
C.J. Stroud.
C.J. Stroud, where you're looking at Burrow right now and you're going, until I see it, because I've now been burned for what, a month?
Yeah.
Been burned a month. I'd rather try one of those other guys.
And the kind of the middle class of quarterbacks, which I think is, Geno Smith, Daniel Jones, Brock Purdy, Kirk Cousins, all those guys I feel better about than Burrow if Higgins is out and his calf isn't right. Now, I do think there will be a point where he is a buy low, particularly when he goes through the bye week. But, it's not looking good for Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
Just jokes aside, but who would you rather have this week? You don't do rankings for us, but who do you rank higher? Joe Burrow at Arizona or future Hall of Famer Sam Howell home to Chicago on a short week?
Sam Howell. Yeah, I think it's Sam Howell.
Yeah, there you go.
Don't make
I just
me
wanted
ask
to make
you
him say
if you'll
something
take
positive
Zach
about
Wilson
Sam Howell.
against the Broncos.
No, I'd take Joe Burrow over Zach Wilson.
All right. Let's get back to the Saints offense because Cris Olave also makes this list. He caught 1 of 5 targets for 4 yards. Jay, Derek Carr just didn't even look right coming off. Nothing looked right in this offense.
No, and I think you kind of have to throw it out because Carr clearly didn't look like himself, physically didn't look right, and there's just going to be these type of games. I will say it is weird that they just don't force feed it to Olave more. First half of the Carolina game as well, he's just unsighted, and Carr was fully healthy for that game. So, look, there just has to be a reorientation where they just need to force feed Chris Olave because he's one of the top 10 most talented wide receivers in the game.
Very quiet day for Deebo Samuel, who dealt with injuries.
I have a friend who started Chris Olave in his guillotine league and is likely to get cut.
Is he
tonight.
chopped?
He might be. It's gonna be close tonight.
Yeah,
Welcome to the party, pal.
It's Jay Croucher.
Oh, no, sorry.
I got 5 points out of Chris Olave and TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah, no,
it's fun. For you. Yeah, no sympathy over here. Okay, Deebo Samuel dealt with a knee and a lot of different injuries throughout the week of practice, and it translates to a game where Barry, he really just didn't do much. Probably didn't need to do much, quite frankly, but quiet day for Deebo Samuel.
It was, but if there's a positive here, he played on 87% of the offensive snaps, right? He ran 10 routes, didn't catch a pass. That's the first time that's happened in his career. I don't think that's going to happen again. Just a bad day at the office. Again, I was surprised he actually suited up and played. He didn't practice all week, and then they just didn't need him because Ayuk and McCaffrey were going crazy.
Jay, the struggles for Ramondre Stevenson continue. 14 carries for 30 yards. The Patriots' offense was abysmal yesterday, and Ramondre, this has been a bad season for Ramondre Stevenson so
Hasn't
far.
been great. He hasn't looked right. Hasn't looked explosive. I will say that at least he had 14 carries to Ezekiel Elliott's 6.
Right.
So at least that didn't flip. And look, this game was just a total write-off. Mac Jones, that's the worst I've ever seen him play. I've also really ever seen a quarterback play in general. He was atrocious. I think you've just got to throw it out and hope that Ramondre bounces back.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, though, here's their next 3 of their next 4, right? Or they're home to New Orleans. You don't love that. At Las Vegas. Okay, fine. Home to Buffalo.
Yep.
That's 2 of their next 3 are tough matchups, I think, in the Saints and the Bills. They are home games for the Patriots as well, but you hope he can get up and snide. But I think he's He's probably still like a low-end RB2 that you're hoping. You wish for more passing game involvement. That's the crazy part, is only 2 receptions in this game, in a game in which they were getting blown out from moment one. But to your point, Mac Jones struggled mightily against the Cowboys. A lot of people struggled mightily against the Cowboys.
Yep.
Our last one, Miles Sanders, 13 carries for only 19 yards, 3 catches for 13 yards here. Barry, just nothing working for Miles Sanders in a very questionable offense right now.
I mean, listen, they should have been able to move the ball against Minnesota, and they didn't. If there's one positive about Miles Sanders, he's got 23 targets this year, second most among running backs. He did catch 3 balls for 13 yards in this one. So if there's some positive, it's that he is getting some passing game involvement, which has not always been a consistent in his career. But yeah, I mean, honestly, the offense just isn't as good under Bryce Young as it is under Andy Dalton. And so it just depends on sort of what they want to do with this team. I think they're 0-4 now, right? And so, at what point do you say, that's probably bad news for Miles Sanders, because at 0-4 you just say, like, let's just get the kid reps. And so I don't think they're going to make a change at quarterback here. They're at Detroit, they're at Miami, then they've got to bye, and they're home to Houston. That's tough. Yep. I mean, the Lions are a decent defense. The Miami Dolphins, in both games, I feel like they're going to get down big, and so, and then the bye. He's a flex. He's a hope for a touchdown flex at this point.
Yeah, and he had injury concern coming in, and Chuba Hubbard got work as a result of that. Just a weird game overall. There were 2 defensive touchdowns in it, and the game still barely got within 2 touchdowns of the total. The under 47 hit with ease. So look, I mean, Bryce Young, not great. Again, he completed more passes, but at the same time took 5 sacks. Didn't look great out there.
I also thought that line. I mean, we talked about this. We liked the under in that game, because we talked about, like, how are these teams scoring points? Like, again, the Panthers actually have a decent defense. The Panthers don't have a good offense. Like, I don't know how they're going to be able to do that there. But I don't know that there's a takeaway here other than just, like, feels like Adam Thielen's the only part of the Panthers offense that you feel like you can, somewhat trust.
Bleak sentence.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and Rotoworld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.